Hey guys, it's Sami, and this is Wrestling Unlimited, as it's Monday, and tonight was Monday Night Raw. Tonight's Monday Night Raw saw all the fallout from the Bash in Berlin pay-per-view, and it was also the first night of Joe Tessitore doing lead commentary in WWE, well, any commentary in WWE, and I saw mostly positive comments for Joe Tessitore. I did see some people that did the comment of, oh, he sounded bored at times. He was just okay at times. Now, here's my assessment of Joe Tessitore. If you've never listened to Joe Tessitore on commentary before, whether that is football, boxing, or so forth, you know that he has two different styles kind of during a broadcast. When the action is going and he's got to be on to deliver, oh, he's on. Like when Drew McIntyre broke the bracelet and he was like, oh my God, he broke the bracelet. You know, that kind of thing. He was on. But then when he's informing you about something, like when I think it was Sonya Deville and them came out, he's like, and that's the Pure Fusion Collective. You know, he's like, you know, Wade, they've really been running a rough shot over the last couple of weeks here on Monday Night Raw, trying to prove their dominant, like telling us, hey, this is what this group is. They're a group of women that want to be in control, want to take over the division, and he's informing you. So he's going to be a little more mellow about it because he's trying to tell you facts and whatnot. Like when they came back one time and he's like, we're here in Denver, Colorado at the Ball Arena. You know, he said, the first, what was it? Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. He said, the first ever WWE premium live event to come from Denver was Vengeance 2003, where Kurt Angle actually won the WWE championship from Brock Lesnar. And when he's giving, and this is how Joe Tessitore has always been, when he's giving you information that he wants you to retain, he's going to say it in a way that it's like, hey, I'm talking to my buddy here. We're friends, and I'm just telling you, you may not have known this before. Here's some cool info. So I saw some people saying he sounded bored. He sounded meh at times. That's just Joe Tessitore. He's not like Michael Cole, who is just always on. He's not like Corey Graves. He's not like your normal pro wrestling commentator. We come back from a break and it's like, welcome back, everybody, from Monday Night Raw. We're here in Denver, Colorado. You know, he's not like that. That's not him. You're gonna come back from a break, and he's gonna ease you back into the show. That's just Joe Tessitore. But when he needs to be on, and the action's going, and he's calling the fight and this and that, it was great. And I think he's only gonna get better. There are things he can work on. Of course, it's his first night, but I think he did a really, really, really good job. We do have a bit donation here from Esports Gaming Rules about Joe Tessitore, stating, quote, Joe Tessitore did a great job on his first night in WWE. Maybe we see WWE PLEs and WWE Video Library on ESPN Plus and Netflix once it leaves Peacock in 2026. No clue on any of that. Most likely would go to, if it doesn't stay on Peacock, most likely would go to Netflix because everything else is going to Netflix. Literally, the WWE network everywhere else in the world is going to Netflix. So if you're going to leave Peacock, why not bring it over to Netflix and just everything's housed there for everywhere? That's my assessment on that one. But yeah, I don't think ESPN Plus is going to want to pay to house the entire network. That's just my assessment of what we've seen from ESPN Plus in the past. They like having content. They like having like the UFC pay-per-views. They like having the PFL stuff and stuff like they like having their content and then licensed content. But I don't know if they want to pay for the entire WWE network. You know what I mean? So that's the thing that maybe, but I'm not sure about that one. Also, no Luke tonight. He had some school commitments. So he's like, hey, be back on Wednesday for AEW Dynamite. Let me turn this fan on. It's kind of getting warm in this room. All right. Hey, with that, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff 4 games, and you always get 1 free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I'd greatly appreciate it if you did right here for Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember, you can help us out on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. That way you know when we post new videos. That way you know when we go live. And that way you know when we post to the community tab. Today we did have an exclusive news story. I was told by a source in WWE that they are discussing Cody versus Solo on that first SmackDown on USA Network, or first SmackDown back on USA Network on September 13th. Not a done deal, not a lock or anything, but it is something that has been discussed and thrown around backstage because they want a big main event for that first SmackDown back on USA. And also remember, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming a free game or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use our code PW Unlimited at checkout and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Maybe you're getting into that end of summer deal. Maybe you're getting Star Wars Outlaws, Black Myth Wukong. We're claiming the free games, Fallout Classic Collection, and Wild Card Football. Put in our code PWU NLIMITED for all Epic Games and Epic Game Store purchases. With that, as far as Monday Night Raw does go, Wade Barrett is in the ring. Well, actually, the show comes on and we get like a Skycam view, drone shot or whatever. And it's Joe Tessitore welcoming us to the show. And then Wade Barrett is in the ring, welcomes us to Denver, Colorado. Barrett then introduces everybody to Joe Tessitore. He said he was thrilled, Joe that is, to be a member of the WWE broadcast team. He put over Denver fans by comparing them to European crowds that they were in over the last week. That was a transition meant to send us to a recap for Bash of Berlin. He was like, you know, we're here in Denver. I don't have the exact words, but he's like, we're here in Denver, Colorado, and this is a great crowd, just like the great crowds we saw all last week in Europe, like this past Saturday at Bash in Berlin. Let's check out how that went, or something like that. It was a good little transition. He's got good transitions. So after this, we saw Gunther, CM Punk, Bianca Belair, and Jade Cargill all arriving at the building, and the show opens. First segment, Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley makes her way out to the ring. She welcomes us to Monday Night Mommy, and the crowd cheers as she spoke about her win alongside Damian Priest over Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio at Bash of Berlin. They then weren't done yet, though. And she says it's time for her to regain what she never lost, the championship. She asked Liv to come out, and instead out would come Dom. Dom came out with a black eye. Ripley said that nobody wanted to hear him speak, and the crowd booed loudly. She said, go get your little girlfriend from the back, or I'm going to give you another black eye. Dom said that Morgan was still recovering from what you did to her at Bash of Berlin. The crowd told Dom he sucks. Dom kept yelling at them in Spanish. I don't know exactly other when he said, cállate, be quiet. But Dom said that they were taken advantage of in Berlin. They were jet lagged and didn't get much sleep, if you know what I mean. Dom over here saying, we were fucking. Dom then said that Morgan wasn't afraid of Ripley at all. Morgan beat Ripley before and she could do it again. Dom is also going to win the Intercontinental Championship once he becomes the #1 contender, and then they will both have belts. Ripley in Spanish then called Dom stupid. Ripley wanted Dom to tell Morgan that she would fight her anywhere, anytime. Morgan then tried to jump into the ring with a cheap shot, but, well, Ripley saw it coming and knocked her out with an elbow. Ripley then turned to Dom, but the distraction allowed Morgan to attack from behind. Ripley wound up caught upside down in the ropes, like her leg was twisted, kind of like when it happened to Priest, when his leg was twisted on the top rope and he was hanging that one time. I want to say that was Backlash. I could be wrong on that. I'm not sure. Fact check me. But when he was hanging from the rope, it was similar, but I think Rhea was hanging from the middle or bottom rope this time. And so Liv just kept beating at the knee, beating at the knee, beating at the knee. And then Morgan booted her, kissed her on the cheek, and that was it before Damian Priest ran out to make the save. The heels bailed. So, yeah, they made it seem like Rhea's got a bum knee now. Rhea is injured, but as we learn later on, yeah, she's hurting, but she's not hurt or injured. We go to the back, and Chad Gable hypes up American Made. He was sick of the Wyatts. He told American Made that they were the best athletes to show in WWE in years, probably since he debuted. He then smacked Julius Creed and said, go out there and get the job done. After the break, trainers tried to check on Rhea Ripley, but she screamed at them, and Priest's like, hey, just give us some time. Give it time. Liv, or Rhea, they got to check you. Just let them check you. He's like, but those guys need their asses beat. I'm going to go talk to Adam and see what I can figure out. Ripley was like, all right, I'll let them check me, but I ain't happy. Also, esports gave me rules. Saw Nikki Bella without her ring after what happened, and Ray gave Joey Chestnut a WWE Championship belt on social media. Well, not on social media, on Netflix, because today was Chestnut versus Kobayashi hot dog eating contest. Chestnut broke his world record, and then afterwards, Rey Mysterio was there and gave him a WWE Championship. The show was hosted, or the live event actually, was hosted by Nikki Bella and Rob Riggle. And all this stuff about, and this is what I didn't make a video about this. Nikki Bella wasn't wearing her ring on Friday. Nikki Bella wasn't wearing her ring over the weekend. You see Nikki Bella do a number of things not wearing her wedding ring. There's episodes of Barmageddon where she's not wearing her wedding ring. It's not that big of a deal, in my opinion, her not wearing the wedding ring. Also, he says, Clash of the Castle, Scotland. God, it was Clash of the Castle. Okay. I wasn't sure if it was Backlash or Clash of the Castle. Couldn't remember. I should have known because I can picture Drew standing there like, do I hit him? We ended up getting a 6-person mixed tag team match. It was Ivy Nile and the Creeds against Maxine, Otis, and Tozawa. And Joe Tesstor was good here. He actually made Maxine seem really good by the way he was commentating. Otis used Tozawa as a weapon against the Creeds early on. Dupree wiped out American Made with a dive off the top. And then we went to a break. Despite what we just saw, American Made were in control of Tozawa after the break. Tozawa hit a conveniently timed DDT and made the hot tag to Otis, who hit Julius with a caterpillar. Otis just sort of threw himself at Brutus at one point, but Julius broke up a pin. Tozawa then gave Julius a German suplex and hit Brutus with a suicide dive. He tried to dive on Julius, but Julius caught him and hit him with an overhead suplex. Otis then knocked Julius off the apron, but Brutus knocked him down as well with the Brutus bomb. Dupree and Nile then tagged in, and Dupree gave Nile a Northern Light suplex. Gable then tried distracting Dupree, so she knocked him off the apron, and she was trying to go for that reverse caterpillar. The distraction, though, allowed Nile to lock in a Dragon Sleeper and tap out Maxine Dupree. Not a bad match. Actually better than I expected. A little opener here. And American Made do pick up the victory. Also, Chad Gable at one point before the break, I think it was. Maybe it was after the break. It was right here. So Gable said that he should have had a one-on-one match against Uncle Howdy last week, but Uncle Howdy brought all his freaks to help him get the win. Gable knew what it would take to finish them, so he challenged them to an 8-person tag team street fight next week on Raw. American Made versus the Wyatt 6. He said, bring out your 4 freaks, and we'll take you on. Uncle Howdy then entered. His sanity crumbled just a little over a year ago, basically when Bray died. The silence in his brain was deafening, but he could still hear. His life was no longer his. Gable was gambling his own being, and the Wyatts would collect the debt. The Wyatt 6 appeared around Uncle Howdy until the lights went out. He accepted the challenge. Well, I don't know which 3 men. I don't know if it's going to be... I could see it being Chad, the Creeds, and Ivy, because it's going to be 8 persons, so they got to be the women, against Rowan, Gacy, Loomis, and Nikki Cross. I don't think Howdy's in the match. Maybe, but who's not in the match then if Howdy is, you know? So I don't think Howdy's in the match. Moving forward, we did have Shayna Baszler versus Zelina Vega. And I want to pull this up on the screen because this was a really cool moment for Zelina Vega. If I can find the image, I think I got a screenshot of it. Someone had a sign that made Zelina cry in a good way. It was about her dad. Yeah, I have it right here. If it'll open. Here we go. This sign was shown right here. And it says, Michael Trinidad has the best seat in the house. And then it says 9/11. I can't really read it. And it says never forget. Basically saying that he is always watching from above to his daughter. Now, I don't know how she knew about the sign. She went straight to it. I don't know if these are people that know her. I don't know if she, saw on TV or somebody at ringside was like, hey, there's these people with this really nice sign. But that was really cool. Really awesome sign that really choked her up. And really, it meant a lot to her, you could tell. Especially because it was about her father. If you don't know, her father did die in 9/11 in the Twin Towers. Esports gaming rules and more bit donations. We'll get to one of those when we talk about the women's tag match. And the other one says today is Hana Kimura's birthday. Yeah. Knew that one. That's a tough story to talk about. Anyway, Shayna Basler and Zelina Vega. About 90 seconds, and then the match went to a break. Vega hit a moonsault after the break for a 2. She used a low 619 to knock Stark off the apron. She then used a dive to take out DeVille. The referee watched this all transpire, and it's like, hey, Zelina hit all of them. They never touched her. It's technically legal. Vega re-entered the ring. Basler just gave her a normal-looking kick, stacked her up, and pinned her. What? Didn't put a finisher on her. Didn't nothing. She just kicked her and pinned her. What the hell? After the match, Pure Fusion Collective beat her up before Lyra Valkyria came out to try to make the save, but the numbers were too much. And the Pure Fusion Collective got the best of them. They then dared anybody to come out and shoot their shot against them. Rhea Ripley was in the back. She had a crutch and a knee brace. And Priest is like, oh, what is this? And she's like, just a precaution. They say that I should be fine, but they don't want to put any pressure or weight or anything on it, so take it easy. He's like, all right, cool. I spoke to Pierce, and unfortunately, Finn will only face me in a tag match. And I don't have any friends, so kind of SOL at this point. And basically, the crowd goes, yeet, because they know what's coming. And Ripley's like, I got an idea. She told Priest to tell Pierce she got somebody in mind. Priest smirked because it didn't take him long to figure it out who she meant. This is weird. It's like there was a segment later with Kofi talking to Pierce going, hey, they haven't defended their tag titles in like 2 months. What's going on? And freaking Pierce goes, yeah, I know. It's hard getting them around and to do things. What? You put them in the main event tonight in a non-title match. Come on, guy. You're the boss. You're their boss. You just say, oh, hey, by the way, I am making a tag title match tonight and you will defend. Don't give me another Roman Reigns situation, Adam Pierce, where you look like a fucking buffoon because the champ won't do what you tell him to do and thinks he's got more power than you. No. You're the GM. You're the boss. Tell him what to do. So that was later when we saw Gunther for the first time tonight. And yeah. CM Punk then walked through the back. And they're like, Punk is coming out next. After a break, we got Vega and Valkyria backstage. And they're like, man, we're tired of the Pure Fusion Collective. They think they can run everything. I think Zelina said that. And Lyra said that. And Zelina's like, yeah. But they've got the numbers advantage. So they can always get the one up on us. And Lyra goes, light bulb. Hold on. Wait, we're in Calgary next week, right? And Zelina's like, yeah, I believe so. Why? She goes, don't worry about it. I got an idea. So, I haven't seen Natty in a while. We're getting Natty back next week. Basically, these two need a vet to help them out. Natty's going to come back. It's obvious. I saw somebody go, it might have been Bangs. He tweeted, it was like, oh, maybe it's Trish Stratus because her history with Zoe Stark. I was like, any other city, that would make sense. Not Calgary. They made a point to tell you, Calgary next week. I got an idea. It's Natty. We're getting the big return of Natty, if you want to call it a big return. We haven't seen Natty in a while. So, Natty Neidhart should be back, I'm assuming, on the show next week. CM Punk then made his way out to the ring. Punk said that he was happy to be in Denver. He said that he couldn't wait to get home to his wife and his dog in Chicago, but he had to make a pit stop here to celebrate with the fans. Strap match was hell and one of the toughest matches he's ever had. He then said it was good to be alive in Denver. It was good to be on the other side of a personal issue, but now it's time to get down to business. That's what I am, a businessman. He said that he wasn't here to make friends. He was here to make money. He'd take it in cash, direct deposit, or like Patrick Roy in 1996, he'd take it in gold. Punk spoke about Gunther, who put Randy Orton down. One of the best versions we've ever seen of Randy Orton. Put him through hell, but was still able to defeat him. Nothing, though, could replace the chip on Punk's shoulder, other than a world title. It was time for Punk to wake up as a champion, and the crowd chanted for Punk. Punk then says that he was proud of what he saw out of Gunther. He congratulated Gunther and then said, quote, we're going to enjoy taking that title off of you. Basically saying he ain't doing that alone. He's doing it with the crowd. Punk then stated, quote, the goal is gold. The target is Gunther. Punk told Gunther to get used to hearing Cult of Personality. He said, hit my music. And I thought Drew's music was going to hit, but it didn't. Punk's music hit. He posed in the ring, celebrated with the crowd, jumped up on the announce desk, gave a big handshake to Joe Tessitore. And then we just got this tight upshot of Punk. And I'm like, Drew's coming out right now. And Drew did what Punk did to Drew at WrestleMania. Grabbed the leg, swept it, dropped him on the announce table. So Drew, wearing a hoodie, comes out, takes out Punk, slammed his head into the table as Barrett got between them. And Barrett was like, hey, don't do this. You know this guy has ruined your career in the past almost. Just let it be. And so, like, Drew's like, okay. Nope. And he runs past Barrett. Claymore on the table. Knocks one of Punk's Nikes off in the process. McIntyre hit another Claymore in the ring. McIntyre grabbed Punk by the arm, booted him in the head as officials tried to stop him. McIntyre warned them to stay away as he removed the bracelet from Punk's wrist. McIntyre then ripped the bracelet apart, and Tessitore said he crossed the line with that one that he's never seen before. McIntyre then shoved the beads in Punk's mouth and gave him a Claymore. I mean, it ain't thumbtacks, but it's something. Officials finally removed McIntyre from the ring. Pierce frantically called for medics, and they brought down a stretcher for CM Punk. After the break, they carted Punk, now in a neck brace and bleeding from the mouth, through the back on the stretcher towards an ambulance, and, well, there's Drew. Drew appears and hammers away at Punk again until he was carried away by officials. Pierce dramatically said to Punk, talk to me, like he wasn't responsive. They want you to think that Drew may have killed Punk. Phil may be dead. Now, regarding the bracelet is fine, just so you know. The bracelet is okay. Punk posted this on his Instagram. Pull this up on the screen. The real bracelet, I should say. Punk posted this on his Instagram and said, for any of my fans wondering, I broke a fake bracelet. I still have the real one. Bracelet returned. That's a picture of him from Saturday, but just letting them know, hey, the bracelet that the fan actually gave me, I ain't breaking that. We're gonna keep that one. So, good to know, good to see, good to hear, good to be. Next up, we had our first of two triple threat matches for the Intercontinental Championship #1 Contenders Tournament. This one was Dominic Mysterio, Dragon Lee, and Ilya Dragunov. So they go for about 2 minutes or so before we go to a commercial break. And after the break, everyone's fighting when Carlito would run down and knock Dragon Lee off the ropes. Priest then entered to his music, which was kind of weird, but whatever, and went after Carlito, who ran away. Dom then tried to attack Priest, but quickly regretted his decision and bailed through the crowd as well, making this a singles match as Priest chased him away. Basically willingly gave up a shot at the Intercontinental Championship. Talked earlier about how I'm going to win this tournament, I'm going to win the title, and me and Liv are both going to have gold. And then just said, fuck it. I'm scared of Damian. Anyways, this made it a singles match. And we got some really good back and forth action here for a couple of minutes until Dragunov hit a Torpedo Moscow to pick up the victory. Dragunov now joins Jey Uso and Pete Dunne in a fatal four-way next Monday. Also, speaking of next week, speaking of the next 3 weeks, WWE did state that starting next week, they got 3 WWE shows a week. Monday, Tuesday, Friday. Next week kicks off WWE week. But for the next 3 weeks, all WWE programming on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday will be limited commercial breaks. For the next 3 weeks, Raw, NXT, and SmackDown will all be presented with limited commercial breaks, which is cool, especially for Raw and SmackDown, because next week's Raw, they're going to get killed in the ratings. They're going up against not just the first Monday Night Football game of the year, they're going up against the Jets versus the 49ers. 49ers, one of the top teams in the entire league, and the Jets with Aaron Rodgers, with everybody wanting to see if Aaron Rodgers can last more than 4 plays. That is going to be a highly watched game because it is Aaron Rodgers versus the 49ers. And the curiosity of, all right, so Aaron Rodgers is going to last the entire game. How's Aaron Rodgers going to play? And are the 49ers going to be the same team that made it to the Super Bowl last year? So that's going to be a big one. And then SmackDown every week now is going to be going up against college football on Fox. So that's going to be big competition for them every Friday throughout the fall. So limited commercials for 3 weeks. Not a bad idea. There's a video package. Typing of Bronson Reed and what he did last week. And then they did let us know that he was out due to injury. Now, the video they posted on social media, Pierce did say COVID. I don't think they said COVID here. They just said illness. I mean, not injury, illness. Kathy Kelly asked Pierce about Bronson's replacement in the triple threat later. And we're halfway through this show, if not more. And he still had no replacement until Strowman came barging in and was like, I won in the match. Pierce like, I don't think I should let you do that after what happened to you last week. He's like, yeah, I'm banged up. And basically was like, put me in, coach. I'm good. Like, okay. He raised up his shirt to show all the damage done by Reed, but it was really only just like athletic tape. And then medical told him he could go if he's like, medical told me I could go if I wanted. Pierce was like, all right, if you say so, sure. And Strowman's like, thanks. So, yeah, kind of silly, kind of weird, kind of dumb. But I wonder when they actually found out that Reed had COVID and couldn't come to the show. Like, was he already in Denver? Had he traveled yet? Did they find out yesterday? Because they posted it at like 2:30 or maybe closer to 2 Central Time. So it was like 3 Pacific. Plenty of time before the show to figure something out. And this is what they figured out. Not just, hey, we're going to replace them with Braun Strowman and their big guy. It was, we're going to set up a segment to make Pierce look stupid, not have a replacement halfway through the show, and then Strowman just barge in. Put me in, coach. Put me in, coach. Like, you got all these people on the Raw roster. Like, let's look really fast. You got all these people on the Raw roster that you could have done. Could have done. I mean, hell, could have threw Damian Priest in there, even though Damian was doing something else. But you know what I mean. Could have put Damian in there like earlier in the day before they set up Damian wanting a Judgment Day, whatever. They could have put, hell, we haven't seen Ivar in a while. You want another big guy? Put Ivar in there. Probably not there. Probably not there. Could have put Karrion Kross in the match. Could have put, I don't know, R-Truth, Rey Mysterio, The Miz. Well, no, Miz already had his shot. And Truth is out with injury. Rey, maybe. Rey would have been a good replacement. Maybe Kofi. So I don't know. Strowman made the most sense because it's just like, this guy had a thing with Reed last week. Reed's out, put me in. So it made the most sense, but just the way they went about it was kind of weird. So Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill entered. And this was weird. They were supposed to do, at least it was advertised, a championship celebration. They really just came out to watch the number one contenders match. So, yeah. Also, speaking of this, Esports Gaming Rules has a comment stating, quote, Kairi Sane just became more famous with her bloody and smiley face with the injury and the buzz on social media for her push. Now, I don't know if she's injured. I know she got busted open tonight, but I don't think she's injured from what I was able to gather. So I don't know about injury, what you mean there. But yeah, Kairi did get busted open and then played it up. She got in Jade and Bianca's face at one point and just started rubbing the blood all on her face. As far as this match does go, like the opening matches, the babyfaces were in control till the break, and then all of a sudden the heels had control afterwards. Zayn tried to hit Dawn with a diving elbow outside, but Dawn pulled Belair in front of her. Zayn practically then flew past her and crashed into the announce table on her own. Cargill then gave Zayn a forearm moments later, and I'm like, what? Not a DQ? I guess ref didn't see it. I don't know. Kind of weird. And I feel like this was Jade was told a spot. Jade ain't going to deviate from the spot, even though the spot got messed up. Kairi missed her flying forearm to Bianca, but I guess the spot was supposed to be, oh, Kairi's going to take out Bianca, so Jade's going to get revenge and take out Zayn. And because it didn't happen, Jade's probably still got into her head. Kairi did her spot, my turn. And we go from there. Kind of like what I talked about last time with Kalani Jordan. These women are being trained, and it's more the women than the men for some reason. They're being trained. Here's your spot. Don't deviate. Hit it no matter what, even if something is messed up before and it doesn't look good. So Sky fought on her own in the ring, but Dawn gave her a cheap shot when the ref wasn't looking. Dawn and Fire then gave Sky a double team gory bomb flatliner to pick up the victory, and then things got a little weird post-match. We're getting a rematch. It's going to be Isla and Alba challenging for the titles. But then after the match, Kairi jumps back in the ring bleeding. Alba and Isla run off. And then Damage Control is jaw-jacking, going at it in the ring with the champions. And I go, okay, so why are they teasing tension between these two like they're going to, like these two teams like they're going to fight? Kairi over here like, yeah, you want to go? I got blood in it. Don't scare me. Kind of thing. And so very weird. And then Joe Tessitore tried to like save it where he was like, well, Isla Dawn and Alba Fire did win the match and they got themselves a tag title shot. So they're going to get out of there and not have to worry about anything any farther tonight or something like that is what he said. But he basically tried to make it seem like they won. They're number one contenders. They ain't got to worry about the champs right now. But Io and Kairi, they still want the tag champs, so they're going to bow up to them. So I don't know. Kind of a weird post-match thing. And I think it was because we were supposed to see maybe Kairi take out Bianca and then the Jade thing and this and that was going to lead to something. I don't know. Also, I don't know what happened to Kairi's eye, but she was not just bleeding. Her eye was completely red, which was weird. Like she popped a blood vessel in her eye or something. But I just hope Damage Control doesn't end up getting a match against Bianca and Jade, at least not before Isla and Alba. And I hope that once they do get that match against Bianca and Jade, they earn it because they lost the number one contenders match here. So they're in no way, shape, or form should be getting a shot at the tag titles anytime soon without having to earn it. And the advertised title celebration never happened. But we talked about this already. Kofi was in the back with Pierce complaining about how Judgment Day never defends their tag titles. Then Pierce said something about how, well, they never want to show up or something like that. And then they're in the main event tonight. So I don't know. Gunther walks past. Kofi gives him a look like, oh, I want that title. I want your belt. And then he keeps on going. And Pierce has got a look on his face like, I need to talk to you. Never mind. Kind of weird. Kind of weird. All these guys kind of just like not respecting Pierce and just walking all over him, which is not what you want from your general manager. The Priest asked Ripley for an update on the potential partner. Priest asked if he said yes. She said no. He said yeet. Priest was pleased and still wanted to talk to him first before the match to go over game plan. So Gunther comes out. Gunther enters the ring with his world championship. He took credit for Basler Berlin setting an all-time arena record in WWE. Said he beat the greatest version of Randy Orton we've ever seen on the greatest weekend. And that was just another chapter in his legacy. He said, there's nobody here that can beat me. And out came the last man to beat him, Sami Zayn. Zayn interrupted and entered the ring to a huge reaction from the crowd. Like, big reaction. Zayn came down and said, I want to talk about the Intercontinental Championship. The great workhorse title. What people often don't talk about is the true greats that really held that belt. Randy Savage, Steve Austin, The Rock, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and my childhood hero, Bret Hart. All of them won the Intercontinental Championship before eventually going after that, the world title. And that's exactly what you did as well. He said, quote, and now, exactly what I'm going to do. Gunther smiled like, oh, you want me? You want me? Zayn says that he wants the one title that's eluded him his entire career, the World Heavyweight Championship. Gunther said that Zayn was right. Gunther and all those other men did step up and end up winning a world title. But Zayn, you've stepped down. Zayn was not on that list of great men. That's why people like him, because he's like them. When Zayn was knocked down, he picked himself up and returned to the ring. Gunther was impressed that Zayn was even trying to challenge him. He saw the fire in Sami's eyes. He told Zayn that if he really wanted this more than anything else, no. And Gunther goes to leave. Gunther's music plays, but Sami cut him off. Sami wondered why Gunther was finally backing down from a fight. Was he scared? Zayn said Gunther knew full and well that Sami is one of, if the only person that was able to beat him here in WWE, saying, quote, I am coming for you, and I will be World Heavyweight Champion. Gunther then left. Logically, this makes sense. This makes sense. Sami's like, no one else is stepping up. I'm the last person that's actually beat you. So let me try to do it again with your World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Again, it makes sense. Jackie Redmond's in the back with Jey Uso. Jey does this thing where he's like, what's up, Jackie-O? Like he always does to her. Jey was in the midst of cutting his usual promo when Braun Breaker would walk up. He's like, oh, yeah, you're eating, man. Braun reiterated that a member of Jey's family would never beat a member of his. Braun was giving him one opportunity to walk away and go after Dom's sloppy seconds instead. If Jey went after his title, he's going to lose. Jey responded and said, thanks for the advice, rookie. Jey said that Braun had his attention now. Jey would win the tournament next week, win the title, and beat Braun's ass. So speaking of that tournament, we had the second Intercontinental Championship number one contenders tournament triple threat match tonight. It was Sheamus, Ludwig Kaiser, and Braun Strowman. It's supposed to be Bronson Reed. Esports Gaming Rules, the bit donation says, does the WWE World Tag Team Championship chaos has to do with Odyssey Jones being removed from the WWE roster page and not on Raw? Well, first of all, I don't know what you mean by chaos. I don't know what this mysterious Odyssey Jones disappearance has to do with tag titles, Judgment Day, and a chaos. I don't know what you're talking about at all. I have no clue at all what you're talking about, Esports Gaming Rules. But we haven't got any other further details on Odyssey Jones. Usually when somebody is released from the company, I would say, profile is then moved to the alumni section. Odyssey Jones's profile just deleted. Typically, and let's do something here really fast. I'm going to pull this up on the screen. So when we go to the WWE website, as you see here, and you search, say like Jones, for Odyssey Jones, doesn't even come up. So when you go to anybody's page, right, and I have to unfull screen really fast. You go here and you type in their name. And I'm going to butcher this. I always spell Odyssey wrong for some reason. Odyssey, I think that's spelled right. Jones. It doesn't come up at all. But let me look at something really fast, because interestingly, I'm going to grab my phone. I am now on a mobile browser. Go to WWE's website. And pop this back over here. Go to WWE's website. Go to the search. And I don't think you'll be able to see this, but you go to the search, right? We type in Jones. It doesn't anymore. So Odyssey Jones doesn't pop up there either. But weirdly, this morning, it still was on mobile devices. So we don't know exactly what's going on. And whoops, did I not show you guys any of that? Anyways, we do not know exactly what's going on. But Odyssey Jones was just removed. And then Sean Ross Sapp had sent out an interesting tweet earlier today stating, yesterday I was told that I need to look into Odyssey Jones' status with the company. He said that he asked about it and never got anything back about it. And I haven't seen any updates tonight from anybody, whether that's Fightful Sean Ross Sapp, whether that's Mike Johnson, the PWU Insider, Dave Meltzer, Brian Alvarez, any of them that normally, break news. So let's go just see if there's anything. This is interesting. So these aren't wrestlers, but Mike Johnson, PWU Insider, has a deal saying 2 major behind-the-scenes departures from WWE. So let me pull this up and let's read this really fast. Johnson does right. WWE's longtime lead production designer, Jason Robinson, is departing the company, PWInsider.com has confirmed. We are told he is either finishing up or was done as of this past weekend's Bash in Berlin event. He was highly thought of and was considered incredibly talented by those he worked with. Robinson started with a background in theater and opera in terms of creating and designing sets before moving into the television realm. He was very much considered a Kevin Dunn guy during his run with the company. That's telling. He has been with WWE for well over 23 plus years and had a hand in creating just about every modern major event and television set you can think of. There were a lot of people shocked that he was exiting. Noting he was as important as can imagine when it comes to designing the look and feel of WWE's broadcast production. From WrestleMania to the Thunderdome, Robinson had his fingers in all of that. Meanwhile, WWE cut Michelle Carlucci this past Friday. We can also confirm. Carlucci had a 36-plus year run with the company starting back in 1988 and may have been the longest-running employee still there when she finished last week. Carlucci held the post of Director of Production Travel, having previously held the role of Director of Freelance Crew, Travel, and Special Projects. Before that, she was Manager, ETO of the company. A lot of longtime former employees were stunned today as word began making the rounds. So, 2 big backstage departures of people that have been there for decades, no longer with the company. One let go and one seemingly leaving on his own. Interesting. Very, very interesting. But nothing on Odyssey Jones. Nothing. We do have a Kairi Sane update from Mike Johnson, PWU Insider. Mike Johnson does right, quote, for those who have asked for an injury update on Kairi Sane, who was busted open and hurt hitting the announce table during a dive to the outside. All that PWInsider.com has been able to confirm is that she received stitches backstage from WWE's medical team after her match. If there was any larger injury, we have not been able to confirm what it might as of this writing. We will update if and when we can confirm more. So she did get stitches for, being busted open, but that's about it. And I don't see any again. Nothing on Odyssey Jones. Nothing on Odyssey Jones, which is interesting. As far as this triple threat match does go, Ludwig, Sheamus, Braun. Sheamus and Kaiser went at it on the outside early on. So Strowman ran at them, and he ran after Kaiser, but he moved, and Strowman crashed through the barricade, which led to a break about a minute into the match. Kaiser then ran around, but Strowman chucked a heavy leather desk chair in his face. Strowman then hit Sheamus with a choke slam for a 2. Sheamus fought back before targeting Strowman's injured midsection. Sheamus hit 10 beats of the Bowdrin, but Kaiser hit him with a Finley roll for a 2. Kaiser hit an Enziguri, but Sheamus came right back with a brogue kick. Pete Dunne, who has been working like everything, Raw, NXT, Speed, throw this guy on SmackDown, and he's got on, attacked Sheamus with a shillelagh. Strowman then gave Kaiser a power slam in the middle of the ring and pinned him to advance to the 4-way next week. So one is to assume Reed was supposed to win tonight. So next week on Raw, it will be it'll be Strowman, Jey Uso, Pete Dunne, and Ilya Dragunov. Somebody must love Pete Dunne there, because he's on everything. They're giving this guy so much TV time. He's not winning everything. Like he lost to Andrade on Speed. He won a couple Speed matches and then lost to Andrade on Speed. He lost recently to, who was it, Joe Hendry, and who was the third? Trick, maybe? No, not Trick. Who was in the triple threat for the number one contendership for the NXT title? I can't remember now. Wesley, maybe? Wesley, I think. He lost that, but now he's facing Trick tomorrow, so very interesting. Someone's like, hey, Pete Dunne, go have fun and just wrestle all the time for us. He's also in NXT producing stuff. No, Speed. He's producing the Speed matches. I think he has done a little producing in NXT as well, I heard. Anyways, Damian Priest met with Jey Uso backstage. Jey knew what it was like to be Priest. No friends, lost family, but Jey still respected him. Plus, he couldn't say no to Rhea Ripley. Priest laughed. Priest and Jey agreed to give Judgment Day a beating for Rhea. Jackie Redmond then approached Pete Dunne, who was very proud of himself in the back. Redmond asked, What'd Sheamus do? Dunne said that he could tell him it was just a message from an old friend. Now, he was off to NXT to smash Trick Williams. Redmond asked, quote, wait, well, tell him it's from Butch? Dunne told her to not call him that again. And then, I'm like, oh man, because they're playing up the Butch name almost ruined my career. Being called Butch almost, ended me. And he's like, I never want to hear that name again. And this did lead to our 15-minute main event. It was Damian Priest and Jey Uso against the World Tag Team Champions in a non-title match, which probably means we're going to get a title match because they beat the champions tonight in a non-title match. So as soon as the match starts, believe it or not, Jey hits a dive. But he was getting beat up anyways right after the break. Weird. So weird. They did the same formulaic thing for almost every match. Babyface has the advantage going to the break, but then the heels have it coming out of the break, and they don't tell us why. Jey fought back to the sound of yeets and made the hot tag to Priest, who went to town on McDonough and Balor. Priest knocked McDonough out of the ring, so Balor hit a sling blade, but Priest came back with a thrust kick and a clothesline. Balor countered a choke slam into a cradle for a 2. There's a cheap shot by McDonough that allowed Judgment Day to take over, but Jey made the blind tag. Priest then hit a double clothesline, and Jey hit a double flying crossbody. Jey super kicked both men and speared McDonough. Jey went up to the top for an Uso splash, but Morgan suddenly appeared on the apron and crotched Jey on the ropes. Balor tagged in and hit Jey with a sling blade dropkick and a coup de grace. McDonough tagged in and hit a moonsault, but Priest broke up the cover. Morgan then got on the apron again, and this led to Rhea coming after her music. Ripley came out on a crutch. Liv smiled and joked at her and literally walked right up to her. The two met in the middle of the ramp. Liv's like, oh, you're hurt. You're on a crutch hobbling around. And Rhea's like, takes the crutch, gets her in the gut, tries to hit her with the crutch. Liv runs off. Morgan escapes through the crowd. Ripley chased her, limping, and doesn't leave the ringside area. Jay then spears Balor. Priest gave McDonough a razor's edge. Jay hit McDonough with the Uso splash and pinned him to pick up the victory. Jay then posed to Priest and Ripley after the match, after the show, or as the show was going off the air. So, yeah, very interesting. They beat the tag champs, which means they're most likely getting a tag title shot. Won't be next week because Jay's got the triple throw, the four-way. So it won't be next week. So we'll see when we get that match. But with that, Esports Gaming Rules says, did you see the Trick Williams diss track on Pete Dunne? I did, but I'm not a rap fan, so I really didn't care about it. It really did nothing for me. I heard it and I was just like, cool. Okay. Like, I'm not a fan of that kind of stuff. But with that, let's get the poll going here on Twitch really fast. What did you think of Raw? I liked it. It was right. I didn't like it. If you're watching on Twitch, the poll is live as we go check the other polls. So as far as the Threads poll does go, 67% liked the show, 17% thought it was just all right, and 17% didn't like it. The comments here state, there is one, if I can get it to load. Maybe there isn't a comment. It says there's a comment, but then when I view comments, there's no comment. Weird. Threads sometimes works, sometimes doesn't work. As far as the Twitter X poll does go, 86% liked the show, 10% thought it was just all right, and 3% didn't like it. Looking at the YouTube community poll, 79% liked the show, 16% thought it was just all right, and 5% didn't like it. This comment here says, I liked it. As far as the live poll does go, 88% liked the show, 11% thought it was just all right, and 2% didn't like it. And finally, on Twitch, 75% thought it was just all right, and 25% liked the show. 80% thought it was just all right, and 20% liked it. With that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, we will be back live on Wednesday for AEW Dynamite, the final AEW Dynamite before this Saturday's All Out pay-per-view. So this should be an interesting one. With that, guys, have a great rest of your night. Have a great rest of your week. And we'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys.